I'm Dave Lavallee. I'm a Red River Métis citizen. I'm a knowledge keeper and also teaching the Michif language. It was Georgina Liberty from the Office of the Commissioner of Indigenous Languages that approached me, see if I wanted to do a video, and I was interested right away because she said I could pick the location on where I wanted to do it, and I did it in my hometown of St. Ambrose. It was like where I grew up and learned all my Métis songs and hunting, fishing, and that kind of stuff. And that's our survival, you know, depended on hunting and fishing and trapping and that kind of thing. So, and when she asked me to do the music video of my Métis songs that I had learned from my elders, I was really happy to do it, and I was actually kind of humbled to be asked to represent Manitoba Métis, along with a couple other artists from Manitoba to represent Canada in this video. So that song, like I said, I was playing at a dance, and we had hired a fiddle player and never showed up, so so I figured, well, we've got to do something fast. We'd need to do some polkas or whatever. So I started singing some of the Michif songs that I had heard from my elders, and so I started singing the one, and it was a little bit short. So I added some little bit of music to it with the. Just, they're actually non-words, they're just some, for example, like damn diddly diddly damn. And to make it longer and for people to change their step when they're dancing. And then I added a second song, and then I did the kind of the chorus thing into that. And from that night on, the medley was performed almost every event that I played for, wedding socials, whatever, you know. People always ask for it, and then we recorded it in 2001, and it's still selling. The CD's still selling big time because of the song. And like I said, that was when I was asked to perform for the Rhythms of the Land. That's the one they wanted me to sing also, because it's all Michif words in it. But like I said, it was quite a successful song to come from the elders. All the words that were, I really don't know how the songs were written or where they originated from, but they were brought over from somewhere for sure. I mean, somebody in the Métis culture wrote them somewhere, so. Quand la maison est propre, tous les garçons y vont. Quand la maison est propre, tous les garçons y vont. Tous les garçons y vont, de destiner le recevoir. Tous les garçons y vont, tous les garçons y vont. That was my uncle's cabin. He had never had hydro or running water. It was just heated by wood, like even in the wintertime, and that's where he lived. I remember he used to come home from the lake, which I went to quite often also, and we used to use horses when we went to the lake, and caboose was heated with a wood stove on the inside. But when he'd get home from the lake, my mom would have a hot meal for him because he had no fire in the cabin all day, so he had to make fire when he got home and started warming up the cabin. So my mom would send me over with some hot bannock and whatever we were having for supper also, and he could have a hot meal when he got home from working. The Michif language, actually at home, all of us spoke that until when we had to go to school, we had to speak French and English. We weren't allowed to speak our Michif language in the school, but for like my dad's side of the family, my dad actually spoke five different languages. He translated actually when the Métis Federation started doing meetings and he translated from a lot of the Cree and the Soto language to the English-speaking people that joined the Métis Federation back when it started in the 60s and that. So, but like I said, the language we spoke that all the time at home. The language is almost lost for a while, where there was very few of us that kept it up, and there's not that really there's not that many people right now, musicians anyway, that sing in Michif. That's why I'm translating a lot of songs into the Michif language. I think it's a good way of teaching the language actually, through song and music. It makes it a little bit more interesting, and I think that it's a good way to learn the language. So that's why I'm doing that right now in the schools, to help the children understand the language a bit more. And then we have storytelling also in Michif, and we have. It's not a worksheet. It's kind of a sheet that has pictures on it that shows the fruits, vegetables, animals, and for you to ask for like a fork, a knife, or that kind of stuff. It has a picture of it, and it tells you how to say it in Michif. But like I said, the music part of it, the kids latch on to that right off the bat, and they're singing and they're happy. And I did the song Jingle Bells, and there's no translation for jingle. There's no such word in Michif as jingle. So you associate to the closest thing that would ring a bell, for example. So you'd say Sunday cloche or something like that. That's the way I translated it anyway. But like just in terms of speaking the language and knowing what the words mean and how people used to say it, like the communication part of it. Like I said, my dad spoke all those languages, and I remember him speaking two of them when we used to go to my grandma's. He'd be sitting there with his mom and his dad, and they'd be speaking this language. And to this day, like I said, I regret not being to learn that part of it too, like the Soto and the Cree. But we learned to speak the Michif French, and so. But I think it's important for the kids to know, where they came from, with their language and that, and how it came to be. Like it was, they're finally now quite a few. They have a few dictionaries out there and written words in Michif, but it's all done by sound, of course. And there's no. Michif was always an oral language. There was nothing ever written, and I'm doing the same thing actually. We're writing it down according to the way the word is pronounced or whatever. But it's I think it's important for anybody, for their language to keep it alive and be able to speak it. Right? It's just it's not just tradition. It was a way of life. The way they spoke the language and communicated with different people, as like I said, Soto, Cree, even English and the French, and so the languages were combined, and that's how the Michif language came to be. Like I said, every time we turn around, somebody is asking us to do a translation for them or come and do a workshop. And I'm really proud of. I have two granddaughters that come and do the workshop with me, and my daughter, and my wife also is pretty well the manager coordinator of the whole thing. She gets all the program together, and the PR department. But it's just like I said. Every day that we do something like that, I'm very proud to be able. There's very few of us left that speak the Michif language in Canada. But the last thing I had heard was there was 200 knowledge keepers for Michif French in Canada. There's really nobody else in the whole country that does that. A lot of words sound like French, but like I said, it's just the way we pronounce in Michif is a lot of different things, and I really don't know how to explain it, but like people say, well, it sounds close to French. I said, yes, it does, but the way we say it, and now that they're writing the words, they're certainly spelled way different than it is in French. So there are some words that don't exist in French at all, where, like I said, I guess they say lost in the translation. We're teaching right now anywhere from kindergarten to, I think the last ones we did were up to grade 5 and 6. And right now we're doing it in the city of Winnipeg here for the Winnipeg School Division. The children when we go to the schools right now, they are 100% involved in it. They're so excited to learn, and like I said, I think the incorporation of stories. I tell them my childhood stories, my experiences when growing up Métis, and some of the words that we teach them are in the songs that I translated. So before we do the songs, we teach them the words and tell them what the words mean, because it makes it that easier for them to pick up the words to the song too, if they know what they're singing about, especially when most of them know the songs in English already, but for me to translate them. And the children are very responsive to the language when it comes to doing it with song and story, especially storytelling too. They want to know, they're interested on how you grew up Métis, and what you ate and what you did for entertainment, or we played outside. We didn't have a whole bunch of electronics or whatever, so we were outside. But my family was music. That was a big thing, and my family was dancing the Red River Jig and playing music. So I come from a family of 20 children, and I have a brother that's 85 years old, and my sister's 82, and they're the last elders in my home community of St. Ambrose, and the knowledge that they have about the language too. Like, St. Ambrose isn't a very big place. Maybe at the one time there's probably 300 people there, and none of those people are around anymore. There's nobody keeping the language alive there in that community, and for me, like I said, that's knowledge lost there. But out of three, say 100 elders, there's only 2 of them left in St. Ambrose, and it just happens to be my brother and sister. There's nobody else in the town that are elders there that remember the language. So, and that's it. Like, I don't know what somebody has to keep going and trying to teach those that are interested in learning their language. First of all, like I said, with the kids learning it in school that we're teaching them now, some of the parents want to learn, and we'll do what we can on our end to keep it alive.